Hello. Well, we are back in Larchmont where the weather is not so great. It's the beginning of the fall. It's raining, so we're back inside. We're back home. Today's my birthday, but we're not having anything fancy. Actually, this is more of a real from the earth wine from what is beginning to look like my favorite region, which is the Rhône. This is a Côtes du Rhône, so it's from the south. The domain is Gramenon, which was created in the late 70s on the basis of really old vines. It's sort of towards the northern part of the southern Rhône, on the eastern, closer to the Alps, to the beginning of the Alps. So it's a nice altitude, 300-400 meters. It's a bit of a plateau. It's an interesting geological formation because that whole region was covered with by the sea, 6, 7, 8, 10 million years ago. And it's a combination of sediment and limestone. Anyway, it has an impact on the vines. I can't really always comment on that, but this is something that is specific to the region. And like everything else, you have a lot of sub areas within the same region that have different characteristics. These folks make several Côtes du Rhône wines, including Vin Sobre and Côtes du Rhône Village, and they Syrah and Grenache is really what they plant. This is a mix of 75% Grenache, 25% Syrah. The vines are about 45, 50-year-old on average, and they have a wine that is made out of 120-year-old Grenache vines. Maybe we'll try that together one day. It's all very natural. They started as being very natural, and then over time they became more what they call biodynamic. So really paying attention to all the cycles in the weather, in the earth, in the plants, and the plants around them. And that's what they really focus on. They want the vine to speak for itself, the terroir to speak for itself, the fermentation to speak for itself with native yeasts. And then this is aged for about 8 months, half in concrete, half in wood, then they bottle it. Very little sulfur is added at the end of the maleolactic fermentation. It's about 15% alcohol, but it's just like, as you see, it's like one of those, just look at the bottles, it's one of those really traditional bottle of wine. And it's something you want to try because a lot of care was put into it. It's partially destemmed, so there's some stems in there, and it's made to be drunk. Not too old. This is 2017. The color is very dark. It's got a little bit of that violet from the Syrah, but it's not, you could tell it's not 100% Syrah. It's young, so you're not going to see a lot of orange around the rim. The legs are there, when you look at the alcohol in the wine. And it's a little muddy. I'm sure it's not filtered because that's not their style. It's a little muddy, but it's just got that something, it almost looks more like something you can chew. When I first opened it, it didn't smell good, and it's a lot of the time it happens in things that don't have a lot of sulfur in them. It needs a lot of air. It needs to get back sort of in harmony with its surrounding, and this is what happened over the last day. The bouquet is still a little bit restrained. It needs a lot of air, but there's a menthol. There's a little bit of licorice. You get that dark fruit coming through it, but it's not aggressive. It's subtle, which it's a bit surprising, but it's just there, like what I said before, what you expect from a Southern Rhône wine. And then let's taste it. Very nice finish. all along. It's really the attack, the mouth, the finish. It's very steady, still a bit tannic, but it's, I think it's what you'd have to expect in something like this. It's got the fruit that is really there. It's got it's not like a true, like, let's say Jeunesse Côtes du Rhône, which is even a little bit hot on the mouth. This doesn't have any heat, and it's just very pleasant to drink. And again, just with the whole notion of how these guys make their wine and what they make it for, it's something you just want to enjoy on a cold, rainy day with something hearty to eat that we'll come to in a bit. Anyway, cheers, and we'll talk to you soon.